Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I'm joined once again by the venerable, the wonderful Arekkz. Say hello.
Hello, it's me.
Well done. It's very good. Yes, and today we're going to be talking about our favourite 7 kingdoms in Super Mario Odyssey. Why not a top 10? Well, because we felt that because there are only 17 kingdoms in the game, and some of them, including things like the Cloud Kingdom, not really being kingdoms in their own right, we felt it was better to go for a smaller number to give it a little bit more gravitas, a little bit more gravy. Didn't you? And Arekkz agreed when I told him that that was the plan.
Exactly. That seems like a solid plan. And 7's a good number.
It is. It's one of my favourite numbers. It's one of the great numbers. Higher than 6. Not so big that it's embarrassing. But anyway, we've had enough waffling, so let's dive right into things. Oh, the Moon Kingdom. Now, Arekkz, this is one that you particularly have a great fondness for, and I think you wanted to be a little bit higher, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. I think it's because...
But it's my list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're ruling here with an iron fist. We're gonna have a debate when we get nearer to the top of the list. But Moon Kingdom is the thing that hit me to begin with. Is the gravity shift, right? You spend the entire game playing, jumping normally, jumping in kind of like the heights that you typically associate with Mario. Suddenly you get to the Moon Kingdom and you're like, whoa, I can jump super high, I can jump super far. Your long jump just suddenly gets incredible. And also, if you're one of those kind of crazy people that likes to do the long jump into the hat bounce, then suddenly that just gives you so much distance. I think the first thing I did when I hit the Moon Kingdom was there was a great big ravine. And I was like, well, if there's zero gravity, I can probably make this jump. Spoilers.
Oh, zero gravity? Careful there. You're going to upset the space fans.
Sorry. Not quite zero, but yes.
Not quite 0, not quite 1. Somewhere in between.
Yes. Somewhere in between.
I'm sure Wikipedia could help us.
It could be 0 mushroom gravity.
Ah, there you go. You see, you're using a different scale, so it's all okay. But shall we actually talk about the kingdom and not made up science?
Yeah, definitely. We're all fun guys here, right? So,
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that really... I like the low gravity and stuff like that. Emphasis on low, not 0.
Yes.
But the thing that really does it for me is the final encounter. It's just wonderful, and that final rush where you have to capture Bowser and you're smashing through all the walls and everything. Honestly, it's one of the best final encounters I've ever seen in a Mario game, and there was no way, once I remember that was on the Moon Kingdom, that I couldn't include it. And just the whole build-up of the game, and to go to, you go to the moon. You go to the moon, and I know with Mario Galaxy, they may not seem like a big thing, but you go to the moon. It's the actual real moon. It's true. It's the real moon in the Mario Kingdom. Well, the Mario universe. Can't say kingdom. That's a different thing. Don't want to confuse people.
Exactly. No, but I agree with you. that final part when you're smashing through everything as Bowser, it's incredible. It's kind of a similar feeling that we'll chat about later. But when you kind of take over the T-Rex, you just feel massive and powerful, right? You're like nothing can stand in your way. So yeah, that was super cool. Definitely.
Yeah, it's the one that we've all seen in all of the promotional material. It's Tostarena. It's the Sand Kingdom. It's a great big wide open space even. A massive playground to run, jump, and just have fun in. What do you think of it, Arekkz?
This is the thing with this one, right? I really like this kingdom. I think it's really well designed. And one of the things I like is kind of the sort of diversity you get in the area. So when you suddenly start going underground, you have an ice kingdom, or not an ice kingdom, sorry, an ice area within the Sand Kingdom. You wouldn't typically think you'd have those two things side by side. So you do get some really kind of varied areas among effectively the desert, right? But I feel at the same time I'm slightly numb to it, because having played Mario Odyssey at various different events prior to launch, it's the kingdom that I'd also played on the most, so I was so used to it that it didn't feel quite as new to me when I was actually playing the game. So my connection with this one's a little bit different. But no, I do definitely like the how it's spread out, and this is also one of the first kingdoms that I learned to semi-speed run. I learned that from, shout out to James Bowden, community manager for Nintendo, because he showed me this when I was at one of the events. There was a timer, and you literally had 15 minutes to get to the final boss. And if you do it the right way and you skip a load of platforms, you can do it. So, yeah, I got a lot of fond memories of this one. Yeah, I think the reason for me that it sticks out in my mind is the fact that obviously it's just a great kingdom, and you get to wear a poncho. That's got to be pretty high up there just because of that. But also the fact that when I went back there after learning all of these ridiculous moves, and sort of the jumping, throwing Cappy, diving off, doing a side flip and then landing on Mario's nose to then roll into a forward side
sideways. So, all the useless, crazy moves.
Yeah.
I just said useless. That's entirely wrong. All those, brilliant, crazy moves that people do. Once I'd learned the basics of that, I still wouldn't say I was an expert, but I think I'm pretty good. Going back there and seeing just how much I could skip was just fantastic. And I had to replay it at one point, actually. Had to go back and play a new file. And when I got there, just all of a sudden, it's like the entire kingdom shrunk. Because all of a sudden my jumps could be so much further. And I could jump so much, so much greater. And overall, sort of so... being so big is definitely to its credit. But I must admit, it is a little bit empty, I feel.
Yeah. There are some... Because especially if you were to look at it from like an aerial point of view, you probably kind of see that among this huge area, there are these little pockets of activity, and then among that, it's basically just barren desert, right? So I guess to a certain extent, maybe that's to leverage the ability to take the lion and then just like run around. It kind of gives you the space to run.
The unfortunately named lion, yeah.
Yes.
Do you know why it's unfortunately named? Nobody seems to have got this yet. I've mentioned this to a number of people. It's called a jacksie.
Okay.
In British slang, clearly not London British slang, because you don't seem to get it. That means your bum. Up your jacksie.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry, yes.
And I've mentioned it to so many people, and no one's got it, and it's driving me mad.
I do get it. But yeah, I guess I must have missed his name because I just called him like Lion Chan.
Lion Chan is that his unofficial name?
It's his unofficial name, yeah.
I'm not even sure if it is a lion. Although I'm not really sure it matters. But anyway, it's a great kingdom. We love it to pieces, but it's not as good as the next one. What could it possibly be? We're about to find out. Now, as anyone who knows me knows, I love me some wood. By that I mean I like plants and things like that, and the Wooded Kingdom for me is a really nice blend. It's a bit like the Sand Kingdom where you've got the juxtaposition of the cold and the hot together. The Wooded Kingdom, you've got the plants, sort of the natural and organic, and you've got the mechanical because you've got all the robots there, watering the plants, and they're the ones that tend it. And I don't know, I just quite like that. It's a nice little thing, and also just the level itself being absolutely fantastic with some of the best music in the game. Arekkz, what did you think?
I definitely agree, and I think it's actually like the way you kind of described it there, talking about like the sort of machine part alongside the jungle of the wooded area, almost kind of creates that post-apocalyptic kind of setting you have for some other games, right? Where suddenly the city's been overgrown, like you haven't been there for 500 years, and you come back and it's just like all these rusty machines. It's actually really cool.
That's true. I hadn't considered that actually. That's a really good point.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely that. I mean, the color palette for this one is also incredibly awesome. But I think it was when we were chatting just before recording this that you just like blew my mind. There's a whole section of this map that I have not explored. Like, please explain.
Yeah, well, the thing is, in the game, it does allude to it in the game itself, but you have to get, I think you have to defeat both of the bosses before it tells you, and even then, it doesn't spell it out for you. But if you jump off the edge at most points in the map, not all of them, but most points, you don't actually die. You just fall into the dark woods. Now, the dark woods are basically as you would expect. It's really deep into the forest, and so the light is very minimal. And there's a T-Rex in there, which is why the Cascade Kingdom isn't on this list. Spoiler alert, because we already managed to get T-Rex in somehow.
Yeah, T-Rex, like. Any kingdom that has a T-Rex gets bonus points from me anyway, and yeah, we had this debate before because I was like, well, we need to talk about Cascade Kingdom because it's got a T-Rex, and you're like, well, there's actually a part you haven't explored. I'm going to claim the reason I've never explored this is because I'm so proficient at platforming that I've never fallen off the edge.
Well, to be fair, the thing is, I saw this at a preview event. It was shown to me by a Nintendo representative. But well, no, it wasn't shown to me. I saw someone else get there, as it were, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, I'll have to remember that. Completely forgot about it. And so it was only, in the post-game where I ran into one of the robots that says the woods carry on beyond this point and there's an edge. I suddenly went, of course, I knew there was another T-Rex in the game. And that's why, you jump down there and there's a T-Rex for you to capture, and there's loads of other things, including one moon that requires you to spend, honestly, I think it is about 1,000 coins to get it, and it's painful.
Oof. Well, it's just as well that there's a handy way to farm coins, eh?
Yes! How do you do it, Arekkz? Maybe they can find out by clicking that card up there to check out your channel and your ideas.
Hey, either that or we'll just talk about it when we get to one of the kingdoms very soon.
We could do, but then we're not promoting your channel.
This is true.
Let's move on! You knew it had to be on here. Of course, it is the Mushroom Kingdom. Now, for me, I almost wanted to put this higher, but at the same time, it does have to have a few points docked from it. And I'm going to get it out of the way now so we can talk about all the good stuff. The fact that a majority of the moons are just talking to Toadette. I mean, you know, sort of as a system, I don't mind that sort of achievement-based system, but when it's classified as moons in the Mushroom Kingdom, I feel it's a bit cheap. I feel like I've been cheated out of about 60 moons in the Mushroom Kingdom. I want to run around the Mushroom Kingdom and get 60 more moons, and they've been taken away from me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, did you consider that possibly during development there just wasn't much room for anything else?
I might have to ask you to leave the video now.
Hey man, I'm just a fun guy. All right, no, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Right,
let's move
agree.
on. No, we'll stay on the Mushroom Kingdom. No, I love the Mushroom Kingdom because of all of the callbacks to Super Mario 64, and even some of the other games. Like there's a little reference to Super Mario 3D World. I think it was it's 3D Land. I think with the Tanuki tree.
Ah, yes.
You can see in there, yeah. So you know, and you get a moon there and everything. But there are so many references to Super Mario 64, and to be able to run around as the polygonal Mario as well. It's just just you know, it's really, you know, sort of stroking and caressing that, you know, nostalgic land at the back of my head.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, talking about sort of some of the throwbacks as well. Finding like Yoshi on the roof, I was like, yes, that was so awesome. Like finding him up there, that was cool. And as you say, it's definitely the throwback. I mean, seeing, because I remember the first time you encounter it earlier in the game when you don't quite get to the actual kingdom part, right? There's like that elevated platform, like the island further away, where you sort of you come in through the painting and you can see it, but you can't quite get there. And I'm like, this place looks cool. So to get there at the end of the game was really, really cool.
Now, you see, I knew the Mushroom Kingdom was in the game because I've been to preview events and people had done just what you said. But I didn't do that myself in my actual playthrough. For some reason, I totally missed that painting. And so I got there after I did everything else. And so it was... Well, I knew it was there, so it wasn't a surprise, but nevertheless, it was so enjoyable to see it and to be able to actually enter it the first time and to be able to run around and do all the things that I wanted to do. It made me a very happy bunny. Now, I think this one's going to get a little bit of contention from some people because I know a lot of people who hate this kingdom. Do you?
No, I think it's. I love the color palette on this one. I think it's like I'll admit that before speaking to you, I did think it was like a candy kingdom and not a luncheon kingdom. I didn't realize they were making a stew. I thought they were making like candy, but no, I like this one. No,
and the constant references to the supreme stew, or now I've forgotten the name of it, so now I'm going to be really embarrassed.
Yeah,
but yeah, the stew that they're making and everything, stupendous stew. That's it. I'm sure that's it. Stupendous stew. I know. I think the thing that most people don't like about the level is that it's surrounded by lava. Essentially, I mean, I'm not sure it's actually actual lava. But, you know, sort of it is a lava world, if you like, and so it's almost, you know, sort of where you can walk is very limited. But I love the way that they've done it, and I just love the layout. I love the style. I love the way, the little characters as well. I don't know what they're called, actually, thinking about it. Volbonians, I think, maybe, in reference to Mount Volbono. The fork people. I think they're just wonderful. It's as if they thought, what is the most ludicrous thing we can try and personify? And they went with forks. I just think, you know, if you're going to go for some sort of cooking-based kingdom, that is the way to go. They could have gone for vegetables. They didn't. They made the vegetables purely a stew ingredient.
Clearly, they thought it was a good idea. But, you know, I agree.
You can find all these puns and more on Arekkz's new album called Annoyance for 50 minutes.
Hey, there you have it. No, but I agree with you. I think it's. I mean, I can see where some people might not appreciate that, but I think, you know, you've got to have a lava or like a lava-esque planet, right? It's the sort of challenge factor you kind of get into, and I think also some of the like enemies in that place that you can actually capture are quite interesting as well. Like, I liked actually like taking the flame guys and being able to sort of like having some of the puzzles where you had to time your jumps like over platforms so you don't land on the ground. You have to land like in the different things. So yeah, I think it was really cool. But I think the color palette just literally stood out to me. I mean, it is all the Mario Kingdoms are colourful in their own way, but this one's just like ultra vibrant. You just walk in, he's like, yeah, this just looks cool. So partly that's probably why I mistook a lot of it for candy, because it was just candy coloured.
Because it's just so bright and colourful, but yeah, that's not the case, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sadly not.
Okay, now this is one that you felt extremely strongly about, isn't it, Arekkz? And I had to allow this one at number 2. Not saying that it's not worth it, but I had to allow this one at number 2 just to get you on board, didn't I?
Yes, yeah. I did debate that this should have been number 1, but hey, this is your house, your rules, so I'll stand in line. But no, this is Bowser's Kingdom, and Bowser's Kingdom is an incredibly designed kingdom. Like I love the aesthetic for it. I mean, I'm a fan of sort of like Japanese stuff in general, but like especially sort of like Japanese theme, Japanese architecture, and the fact that the design for the whole kingdom is amazing, but also the fact that right at the beginning you can get a samurai outfit for Mario. I'm like, yep, I'm sold. This is amazing. But it's also kind of to go back to what we were saying earlier, one of the greatest places to farm some coins. So there is a very, very, very good, very lucrative farm on this here kingdom. So it's not only a cool looking kingdom, it's also a very useful kingdom.
Well, there you are then. If you need to get some coins, then I think I know the one that you're meaning, because there is a seed you can get and go into the clouds and everything, yeah, and you get loads of coins there, yeah. I thought it might be that, because I did notice that you get some ludicrous level of coins for that. But in terms of the actual kingdom itself, I think, for me, it is the difficulty and the aesthetics. Because I think the design, sort of all these sort of detached areas and things like that, I'm not big on it. I don't think it flows very well. But the difficulty with getting, all the moons in there are pretty much some of the most difficult in the game. Trying to control that bird that you poke into the wall with, that is hard as anything to get it absolutely right. It's brilliant, but it's really tough. It's a really good challenge. And that's what I love about the Bowser Kingdom. And also, I just love the fact that and it's such a small detail, but there's so much colour in it already, but the clouds are all colourful. They could have just had normal cloud-coloured clouds, which are generally grey or white, but they didn't. Yeah. They went with these bold, colourful clouds, and it just pops, and it works so well in that situation.
Yes, no, that's true. That is very true, actually. Yeah.
It had to be. I mean, I couldn't have chosen anything else for number 1. I know you could have done Arekkz, but for me, no, I'm sorry, but the Metro Kingdom, New Donk City, it's number 1 in every regard. I think probably the thing that I love about it most is the fact that it just flows so effortlessly. You look at it and you sort of think that is a city. It is admittedly a very small city, and it kind of doesn't make any sense, but visually, that is a city. That is what a city looks like, and yet it works so well with the gameplay. The gameplay just flows. The level design is, in my opinion, some of the greatest I've ever seen in a game.
Yeah, no, I'll give you. I 100% agree that, this is an incredible kingdom, and I think again, it's probably a similar sort of thing that I have with the Sand Kingdom, because this is one of the other ones that you've seen so much. I think I was just partly a little bit numb to it. I think if I could have gone into this having never seen that and I encountered that kingdom, it would have been an incredible experience. But yeah, the layout is really, really nice. There are some really cool. I like some of the further out places. Again, like this is anything that basically leverages some slightly more advanced platforming. Then, if you think about, say, the further out buildings across the sort of skyscape, so to speak, you have to do the long jump off the really, really high part, and then you have to use your capability to actually really get to it. Things like that are really awesome. And plus, then the little kind of mini games you can get involved in as well, like being able to sit there and do the jump rope stuff, or being able to grab that possess the guy racing the little Scalextric's car or the remote control car. Things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the map. You have these little isolated activities that they're really good fun.
I think for me as well, the fact that there is so much to do in New Donk City. I mean, as you say, you've got the RC car, and you've got the follow-up as well, where you can actually go around a track and everything. You've got the situation where you're running away from the T-Rex. So there's another T-Rex for you in there. There are so many little things here and there, and it all just blends so well. The only downside for me in New Donk City is that it does cause the Switch to chug just a little bit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it does struggle a little bit with rendering just so much on screen at one point. But it's more than made up for by the festival. That thing is just wonderful. I could play that over and over again. The music, the lights, the fact that it's all this 2D, it's blending the old and the new, and it's just, honestly, it's just a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that festival, the kind of the sort of the bright colours and the music that were kicking off at the end, that was like a really kind of cool sort of culmination to the end of the kingdom, because that's one of the last things that I did. I wrapped up there, and I haven't because I'm still doing a lot of post game stuff, so I'm still kind of going back. But for me, that basically represents the end of my Metro Kingdom experience thus far. So that's kind of a good sort of chapter end to what I remember of that kingdom.
I don't think we really need to say anything else about it. I think the thing with the Metro Kingdom, it's so wonderful. It speaks for itself. So if you've played Super Mario Odyssey, you'll know exactly what we're both talking about, really. Then again, maybe you hate it. I don't know, because I'm not you. But nevertheless, that is our top 7, shall we say, of the kingdoms in Super Mario Odyssey. Massive thanks, Arekkz, for coming along. How can people find out more about you and what you do?
They can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Arekkz Gaming, and also just Arekkz on Twitter, because I tweet quite a lot. So if you want to follow random stuff, then I'm there. Thank you for having me. It's been good.
He's a good man to follow, and thank you again for coming along. And of course, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you talk incessantly about that subscribe button and its 6 brothers for no apparent reason. And be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.